Hey guys, how's everybody been doing? It's been a while since I made a video, um, and so I thought I would make one tonight. It's been a little difficult now that I'm 2 years and some months on T, um, to like come up with video topics, but I came up with one, uh, and I don't want to disappear on you guys. Um, so what I want to talk about tonight is the reactions of family to your transition and how that changes in time. Um, and I can only talk about my experience, of course. I know it's such a huge fear for a lot of people when they're thinking about transitioning before they transition, and I have to think back and remember how it felt for me and how frightened I was. Um, of what they were going to say and what was going to happen. And it was, I don't want to sugarcoat anything. It was really nasty at first. Um, I have four older siblings, and it's funny, like, the reaction went from good to terrible from the one that was closest in age to me to the oldest one, the one that really didn't know me very well at all, which is kind of interesting. Um, But what I want to do is I have some letters that were written when I came out back in 2012, and so I thought I'd share those with you, um, just so you can kind of see what may happen when you decide to transition, um, and not in a "woe is me, look what happened to me" kind of a light, but just so you could be prepared for what people might say. Um, because people will try to um, people will try to go for your weakest areas, your most um, the places where you may feel the most vulnerable, to try to manipulate you to do what they think you should do. um, ah, and I have to make an appearance with my cat. He's my best buddy. Okay, so I came out in 2012. Um, I came out to my extended family on Facebook, because they live all over the country, and maybe that isn't the best way. But it's not like I ever called them or talked to them beforehand, and so maybe I should have done a phone call, but I didn't. I did it on Facebook, um, and so they wrote me a note asking what was going on, and so I wrote them a letter, and my eldest sibling wrote back uh, with this. So he uses my old name. I read your response to my wife's message. That was where I told her what was going on. To you, my wife's message to you yesterday, and was up most of the night trying to sort through this in my head. Excuse me. I battled if I should write this at all to tell you how I feel, but I guess that sending it certainly can't make things any worse. So here goes. Yankee, sit. Sit. His tail's in the Christmas tree. Sorry. These videos are really professional, I know. Um, this decision you are making is complete and utter madness. I hate to break the news to you, but you are not a man trapped in a woman's body, but you are the same spoiled, selfish, 12-year-old brat that you have always been, trapped in a 30-year-old body. Your whole life you have made one bad decision after another in your vain quest to find meaning, happiness, and fulfillment outside of God's will. Pardon me. Yankee, lay down. I hate you. This is serious. Okay. Unfortunately, this new quest of yours is not like a poor career choice, a move out of state, or a unhealthy relationship. Choosing to mutilate your body is not something that you can change your mind about when it becomes clear to you in the future that you are out of your mind. I hurt for you as I have watched from a distance while you have destroyed yourself. I also hurt for our parents as I have watched you put them through hell on earth with your thoughtless, selfish, destructive behavior over the years. Dad and Mom have given you 10 times more than all your brothers combined in your lifetime, and all you have repaid them with is pain, humiliation, debt, and shame. Except for one thing. God allowed you to bring a new life into this world, the most precious gift any of us have. That little girl of yours has brought our parents so much love and joy, and is the only important thing that you have in your life. I already worry about the challenges that she will have to face in her future because of what you have become, and can't imagine how much worse that will be with this new scheme of yours. I am not just trying to be mean or judgmental. I just felt I had to share some hard, cold facts with you. You are looking at a future that will end like a bad movie. No good will come of this decision. Not for you, your current lover, or your family, who are the only ones who love you. You are going to cut yourself off from all those you care about, who care about you, and become a very lost and lonely person. I don't expect this letter to change anything. What I expect is that you will do what you have always done, and that is whatever you want without any thought of consequences or consideration of how your choices may affect others. For once in your life, please think of someone beside yourself. Think of your daughter, because you will lose her. Uh, in response to, in your response to my wife, you listed how everyone felt. I just wanted you not to have any doubt how I feel. So that was his letter, and he definitely pinpointed every vulnerable place that I had at that point in my life. Shaming me uh, that it would be hurting everybody. Shaming me that I would lose my daughter and I would end up lonely and lost and no one who loves me. And people will do that. People will say those things. Uh, they'll pick whatever it is in your life that you're concerned about or not proud of, or failures in your past. Um, they'll bring that up and they'll use it to try to manipulate you into doing uh, what they want you to do, which I think I said already. Um, I'm going to share my response to him, and him and his wife, actually, because she wrote another letter similar to this, different wording, but I don't really have to read it. It's all kind of the same idea. Sorry. So I wrote him. This is September 8th, 2012. Well, it must have taken you being up all night to think of the most hurtful things you could come up with to say to me. I could lash out and dredge up failures from your past to dig back at you, but I won't. If you knew me at all, you would know I'm not that kind of person. I have not rejected God, but I have rejected hypocritical, judgmental Christians that use religion as an excuse to hurt and tear down those who aren't like themselves. It has happened all through history. The English used the Bible to justify murdering thousands of Arabs. Hitler used the Bible to justify his hatred of Jewish people. Catholics used the Bible to hunt down and kill Protestants. White men used it to justify their treatment of black people. Men use it to justify their treatment of women. The list goes on, but I'm not here to give you a history lesson. You know all the facts as well as I do, but you think what you believe is the right belief, just like they did. I lived 27 years of my life under the oppression of those who wanted me to fit in with what they thought was right. I'm so happy I finally came to the point where I realized it's okay to be myself. God does not make mistakes, and He made me. I'm so happy my daughter has a parent who can teach her that she does not have to hate and judge others, but she can be loving and accepting of those who are not like her and those she does not understand. I will love her no matter how she grows up and no matter who she loves. I know she is going to be an amazing person someday. I'm sure all of this will fall on deaf ears, ears that belong to people who are so sure what they believe is right that they can't possibly consider anyone else's beliefs. But since you felt it your right to speak your mind, so do I. I'm sending this message just to you, but feel free to share it with your wife, as it is all I'm going to say. And that's where I left it. Um, when when people respond to you like that, um, just complete blatant disrespect for who you are and your beliefs and what you're going to do, you don't have to continue that dialogue with them. It was a little easier for me because they're not local, um, than it would be if I had to see them every day. But even then, it's okay to draw a line and say, I'm done. I'm not talking to you anymore. That doesn't mean you're not going to ever again, but when you are starting transition, it is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. And there's a lot of changes, and socially, it's really difficult, and there's a lot of work you have to do, like internally. And to have those kind of people in your life, it would, take something that's hard and just make it ridiculous. Um, so yeah, I stepped back from him as well as from a couple of my other siblings. Excuse me. Um, and just focused on my family. My daughter and my partner at the time, and my transition. Because you can only do so much. You can only take on so much at once. So um, things were pretty quiet for about a year uh, before anything happened. And then a year went by, and at Christmas we decided to send an olive branch to their family. Looking back at my Facebook messages, there's nothing uh, from him for a year. Um, so we sent them an olive branch. We sent them some cookies. And he writes me on Facebook and says, Daniel, got your Christmas package. And he thanked me, and he uh, said, thank you as a nice surprise. We sent a little something for you and your family. Um, so in the year that I didn't speak to him, he went from you're an abomination who hates everyone to acknowledging that I have a family, which was pretty big. And then he said, love you, you know, love your brother, blah, blah, blah. Um, so that sometimes with people like that, if you step back, they will change. Stop it. These animals are fighting. People will start to change if you give them time, and they also see that even though you transition, the world didn't fall down, and your family, isn't scarred for life. And I'm not going to say it's easy, but and then this year, this is the troublemaker. This right here. Yeah. This year, him and his family are actually coming home for Christmas, and I was still a little bit concerned because when people say those kind of things to you, you don't just forget about it. Go lay down. Go on. Get down. Away. Off. You don't just forget about it. Um, in a couple of years, it like kind of burns into your brain. So I actually did write them with my concerns, and I was talking to his wife, and she apologized um, profusely for their behavior, and she thanked me for being so gracious, considering, all their kids know me as Daniel now, and, I don't know if he truly understands or accepts me completely for who I am. Um, I don't know, and I don't know if we'll talk about it when he's home. I'd like to. My family has a tendency not to really talk about anything. Um, and my other brother is going to be home too, who is the pastor brother, who's still not with it. So I don't know. We shall see. The holidays are the holidays can be a tough time for LGBT people having to deal with family, and it's a sad thing. Nobody should be, no one should be rejected or made to feel less than for being LGBT, especially by your family. But yeah, the point of the video was that over 2 years it went from terrible, awful to acceptance. And I guess to wrap it up, just stand your ground when dealing with people in situations like that. Know who you are, stand your ground, and know what you believe in. Um, in my response to him, I used God because that's my belief. Um, and since he was using God against me, that's what fit. If you don't believe in God, don't try to go that route. Um, but know what you believe in and be proud of it. So I hope this helps anyone who's struggling with whether to come out or not, and who's scared of your family and what they might say. They could say I'm not. They could say terrible things. They probably will. Some of them. If you have a family that is accepting and loving and supportive, that's amazing. Spread that around to other people who need it. Um, when I first came out, and my family was like they are. My partner's family was loving and open and supportive, and she shared her family with me, and they were the ones who were that, accepting uh, stand-in for my family. So if your family is good, definitely see if you can help other people who aren't as fortunate. Um, I hope you guys have a good Christmas. If I don't, or holidays, whatever you celebrate. If I don't see you before that comes, I think I'm getting cold. I'd like to make some more videos talking about uh, just some of the harder things about transition. It's easy to talk about the changes um, but there's so much that goes on. There's so much like mental torment in being transgender, and there's a lot of good stuff too. I don't know, it's all mental torment, but there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff. So if you have any questions or something you'd like me to talk about in particular, please let me know. That'd be good. So I will talk to you guys later.